This is iGaging set of 15 setup blocks in metric. We've got a good case for keeping these in. Really nice that each of the blocks has been cut into the foam base. So if you take one out and using it around the workshop, you know immediately if it hasn't gone back into your case before you pack up for the day. A really good range of blocks. Smallest one starting off at 1 millimeter thick. So we go from the 1 mil, 2 mil, and then printed on the top you'll see 3, 4, 5, 6, 6.5, 7, 8 and 10, 12.5, 16, 19 and 20. So also what we can do by adding the 1 mil obviously to the 8, we can make up a 9. So by adding the bars together we can make up pretty much any size you're looking for. As we get to the larger block, that one also has printing up the side and across the base, so we can use that for setting up heights of route cutters, but I'll show you another way as well. But also this overall block is 25 mil by 50 mil by 75 mil. So we can use that for setting up machines with as well. I've got here a bridle joint and a piece of timber that's 24 millimeters thick. As a standard, we'd break this down into 3 components, 8 mil, 8 mil and 8 mil at the bottom. So when we're trying to clean this area up, one thing we can do with a setup block is take the 8 mil, drop him in here, and then we can start feeling whether we really are down nice and flat to that 8 mil. Also, you can use the squareness of this block to sit in there to see is it cleaning the corners. If you've got scruffiness in the corners, you'll find this thing will be wobbling because you've got a bit of timber left in there. I can do the same from the other side and feel he's nice and flush. We may also find that 8 mil will sit just inside the joint, and then we will know that everything is spot on for our 8 millimeters. We can also use the setup blocks for setting up the height of the saw blade, or also the size between the fence and the edge of the saw blade. So if we're going to set up the height, I'd bring my block in. I'd always have my blade lower, and then I'd wind my blade in so we're just nice and level with the top of that block. If we wanted to use a block between the fence, again, just bring this over and fine adjust him just so you're nicking the edge of that block to set up exactly to your 75 mil, whatever size you're using by adding your blocks together. If you're setting up your router table and you want to bring your cutter to a particular height, just choose the right size block that you're looking for height wise, pop him down and wind your cutter up so it's just coming level with your setup block. If we want to set up the depth of the cut that we're doing from the fence, always bring your cutter so your cutter is at 90 degrees to the fence. That's going to give us maximum amount of cut. Choose your suitable setup block, put him on here and bring your fence backwards and forwards until he's dead flush with the cutter before you lock your fence down. We can also use the appropriate size setup block for measuring from the table to the bottom of the cutter if you're trying to get a groove into a particular position. And we can set him up so this is just coming under the cutter, and now that's exactly at our 10 millimeters. If we want to set our drill up and leave a constant depth underneath the bottom of the Forstner bit, choose the right size block you're looking for, set him up, bring your Forstner or drill bit down to the block, and then we can lock off the height. We now know that when he's locked off and into position, when we drill down, we'll always drill down and leave this 20 millimeter up from the bed or thickness of our timber. If you want to do a constant drill depth going from this top surface of your timber, select the right size setup block you want to use, set your drill or Forstner bit up so it's touching the surface and basically at a 0 point, and then we'll use the spacer block up between the stop and the nut in here and tighten that one down, and then we will have a set depth of cut every time. If you'd like our iGaging metric setup blocks or any of the iGaging range, check us out on woodworkersworkshop.co.uk and look at our social media channels.